In the humid forests of the Americas, 18th century naturalists first pinned the monarch butterfly to their specimen boards. Its wings blazed with warning, orange slashed with black, a pattern that seemed to shout danger. Yet the insects fluttered lazily, unconcerned, as if they carried a secret armor. The European collectors watched local birds snatch the bright wings from the air, only to gag and shudder moments later, regurgitating the vivid scraps in a violent, learned rejection. The naturalists' journals filled with these observations, each entry a puzzle. A thrush would seize a monarch, crush it in its beak, then convulse, heaving the insect back onto the forest floor. The butterfly often emerged battered but alive, its chemical defense already at work. This was no coincidence, but a repeated, visceral lesson. Predators learned to associate that specific fiery coloration with immediate gut-wrenching sickness, an aversion burned into memory. For decades, the mechanism remained a mystery. The butterflies themselves showed no outward signs of manufacturing poison. They visited flowers, sipped nectar, and migrated thousands of miles. The toxicity had to come from elsewhere, stolen during an earlier hidden phase of life. The answer lay not in the air, but rooted in the soil, waiting within the leaves of a particular milky-sapped plant the caterpillars consumed exclusively. For nearly 2 centuries, the monarch's toxicity remained a biological mystery. Then, in the early 1960s, a team of researchers gathered in a California laboratory. They laid out specimens, butterflies, caterpillars, and the green, broad-leaved plants the caterpillars devoured. Their goal was simple: trace the poison back to its origin. They began by grinding the leaves of the milkweed plant, the monarch caterpillar's sole food, into a bitter green paste. Extracting chemicals from the paste, they ran the samples through a series of tests. The results were stark. The milkweed sap contained powerful compounds known as cardiac glycosides. These were the same toxins found in the foxglove plant, used in medicine to treat heart failure, but deadly in the wrong dose. The scientists had found the monarch's chemical arsenal, not manufactured by the insect, but stolen directly from its host. The discovery was profound. The caterpillar was a living chemical sieve, consuming the milkweed's defensive poison without succumbing to it. The toxic glycosides passed through its digestive system and were stored in its tissues. This meant the poison survived the caterpillar's complete transformation inside its chrysalis, waiting to arm the emerging butterfly. The monarch's vivid orange and black wings were not just a warning, they were a billboard advertising stolen goods. But before we continue, you need to know that YouTube suddenly decided our videos are no longer eligible to receive a share of advertising revenue. In other words, the channel continues generating advertising income for YouTube, but none of it supports the production of the documentaries themselves. Without another way to fund the channel, continuing to produce videos would simply become impossible. So instead of stopping the channel we love, and that many of you say you love watching, we created our own application to become the new source of funding for our documentaries. You can take a photo of any plant to instantly identify whether it is toxic, but also explore the interactive map showing poisonous plants reported around you, and receive alerts if you approach a toxic plant. If you enjoy gardening or walking in nature, we truly hope the app will be useful to you. Subscribing to it helps fund the production of this channel and allows us to continue making these videos. Thank you very much for your support, and now let's return to our story. The mystery of the stolen poison deepened. In the 1970s, researchers in a quiet university laboratory turned to a new tool: paper chromatography. They crushed monarch caterpillars that had fed exclusively on milkweed, then carefully separated the chemical compounds within their tissues. As the solvent crept up the paper, distinct bands of colour emerged, revealing a chemical fingerprint identical to the cardiac glycosides from the plant itself. The experiment continued with the butterflies. They analysed the bright orange wings and the bodies of adult monarchs that had emerged from their chrysalises. The chromatogram told a startling story. The toxic glycosides were not broken down or excreted. They remained intact, stored within the insect's tissues, surviving the complete cellular reorganization of metamorphosis. The poison was carried from caterpillar to butterfly, a chemical inheritance. This was the definitive proof. The monarch did not manufacture its own defense. It was a chemical thief. The caterpillar acted as a living storage vessel, ingesting the plant's toxins and sequestering them unchanged. Through the miraculous transformation of pupation, those stolen molecules were preserved and distributed, arming the fragile adult butterfly with a potent ready-made weapon against any bird that dared to take a bite. The question remained, did this chemical theft actually protect the butterflies? In the early 1980s, a biologist set up a simple but decisive experiment. He placed a hungry blue jay in a laboratory cage, then offered it a monarch butterfly. The bird, seeing a potential meal, seized the orange and black insect in its beak. What followed was captured on grainy film. The blue jay swallowed the butterfly, then its body convulsed. Its head jerked back, throat muscles tightening as it retched violently, expelling the partially digested insect in a wet, crumpled mass onto the cage floor. The bird shook its feathers, a clear look of distress in its eyes. The lesson was immediate and permanent. When presented later with another orange and black insect, even a perfectly edible model, the blue jay recoiled. It had learned to associate that vivid warning pattern with profound sickness. This single visceral experiment proved the stolen poison worked perfectly, turning a predator's instinct into a butterfly's shield. While the monarch's story unfolded in North American labs and fields, a parallel chemical theft was being perfected half a world away. Deep in the Brazilian rainforest, the air hummed with life, and among the emerald tangle of vines, a flash of electric blue and orange marked the heliconius butterfly. It fluttered not to flowers, but to the broad leaves of a passion flower vine, its proboscis probing for a very specific meal. The vine itself was a fortress of chemical defense, laced with cyanogenic glycosides, compounds that could release deadly cyanide if the plant's tissues were crushed. But the heliconius caterpillar chewed with impunity, its gut enzymes deftly disarming the poison's trigger mechanism. Instead of being broken down, the intact cyanide precursors were shuttled directly into the insect's own body, stored in its tissues and wings as a stolen arsenal. This sequestration transformed the butterfly. A bird that snatched the vibrant insect would get a mouthful of bitter, acrid chemicals, a warning signal of cyanide poisoning. The predator would recoil, often regurgitating its meal, and from that moment on, it would associate those specific wing patterns with sickness. The heliconius had turned the plant's own poison into a personal shield, surviving not by fighting the rainforest's toxins, but by stealing them. While the Brazilian butterflies had mastered cyanide, the monarch's defense against its own stolen poison remained a genetic mystery for decades. The answer finally emerged, not in a tropical forest, but within sterile modern laboratories, where scientists extracted DNA from delicate butterfly wings. They were searching for the specific mutation that allowed monarchs to dine on deadly milkweed without suffering a paralyzing heart attack themselves. Sequencing machines hummed, mapping the butterfly's entire genome letter by letter. Researchers focused on the genes responsible for the sodium-potassium pump, a crucial protein complex in every animal cell that maintains the electrical charge necessary for nerves to fire. In most creatures, cardiac glycosides from milkweed jam this pump, causing catastrophic system failure. But the monarch's genes told a different story. A single critical mutation was found, a change in just one amino acid building block of the pump. This microscopic alteration reshaped the protein just enough so the plant's toxin could no longer bind to it. The stolen poison flowed harmlessly through the butterfly's body, unable to disrupt its own nervous system. This elegant genetic tweak was the ultimate key to the theft, allowing monarchs to safely weaponize the very compound that should have killed them. While the monarch's chemical theft gave it a powerful defense, another butterfly found a different path to safety. In the same North American meadows where milkweed grew, a harmless orange and black insect fluttered among the flowers. This was the viceroy butterfly, a creature that carried no poison in its body, yet wore the monarch's warning colors like a perfect disguise. A hungry bird, having once retched after tasting a monarch's bitter wings, would spot that familiar orange pattern and immediately veer away. The viceroy's wings mirrored every detail, the black veins, the white spots along the edges, creating a visual deception so precise that even close inspection might fail to reveal the imposter. Evolution had sculpted its appearance through generations of trial and error. This strategy, called Bayesian mimicry, allowed the viceroy to benefit from the monarch's toxic reputation without ever consuming a drop of milkweed. As long as poisonous monarchs remained common enough to teach predators their lesson, the harmless mimic enjoyed the same protection, a free ride on another species' chemical defense, written in the silent language of color and pattern. But the milkweed was not a passive victim in this chemical theft. Over millennia, some populations of the plant fought back. They evolved thicker, stickier latex that gummed up the mouths of feeding insects, and they pumped higher concentrations of cardiac glycosides into their leaves. What had been a mild defense became a potent chemical arsenal, turning each leaf into a potential death sentence for any creature without the right adaptations. The monarch caterpillar, however, had its own counter-move. Before taking a single bite, the tiny larva would crawl to the base of a leaf and use its mandibles like precise surgical tools. It would slice through the main vein in a practiced maneuver, severing the latex tubes. A milky white sap would bleed out, draining the plant's defensive pressure. Only then, with the toxic flow stanched, would the caterpillar begin to feed on the now safer tissue. This silent duel in the meadow was a perfect evolutionary arms race. The plant escalated its chemical warfare, and the insect perfected its behavioral sabotage. Each adaptation drove the other, locking monarch and milkweed in a relationship of toxic dependence. The butterfly needed the poison to survive, and the plant, paradoxically, needed its leaves eaten to spread its seeds, carried on the wings of the very creature trying to outwit it. But the very strategy that secured the monarch's survival for millennia now faced a new, invisible threat. Across the vast agricultural heartlands of North America, a different chemical began to spread, not a plant's natural defense, but a human-made one. Herbicides sprayed in precise, relentless waves, cleared fields of every unwanted green thing. Among the first to vanish were the common milkweed plants, their broad leaves and pink flowers treated as mere weeds. For a female monarch fluttering over a transformed landscape, the search became desperate. Her instinct drove her to lay eggs only on milkweed, the sole food her caterpillars could eat. But where once a patchwork of meadows and fence lines offered refuge, she now encountered endless, toxic green monocultures of corn and soy, utterly barren of the vital poisonous host. Each failed search meant another clutch of eggs that would never hatch. The consequence was a silent collapse. Without the milkweed's stolen cardiac glycosides, new generations of butterflies emerged defenseless. And without the butterflies, the ancient chain of chemical theft, from plant to caterpillar to winged adult, began to unravel. The decline in monarch populations became a stark measure of a broken ecological pact, where the loss of a single toxic plant threatened to erase a million-year-old story of survival.